So in the beginning of quarantine, I made this little show called Quarantine Life. This is what it looks like.
Marcia, I love you. I do, but we have to be 6 feet away, and long distance relationships never work. So I'm breaking up with you. Antonio, my heart.
So now my art project is to make a video about how the pandemic has affected people's lives because of my video skills. So basically, the main idea of the thing is that I went around and asked people how the pandemic has affected their lives. First, I went to women's. Hey, how has the pandemic or the COVID quarantine lockdown, how has it changed your life so far?
From wearing masks.
Okay, how has the pandemic affected your life?
I can't go out as much, a little bit of stress, and just can't really hang out with people anymore.
But as you can see, I didn't get much there, so I went over to Taco Bell. Okay, so how has the pandemic changed your everyday life?
It's hard to get the type of food that I want because dine-in isn't open, and social distancing makes it hard for me to give my friends hugs because 6 feet is very crucial.
He has a very good point about dine-in there. After all, most people I know are really sick of ordering food and just wish they could go into a restaurant, but they can't. Anyways, next time at the Starbucks. So, how has the pandemic affected your life?
Let's see. The pandemic has affected my life because I am an artist and I was an art teacher, but now it's kind of weird in the classroom. I'm not teaching right now, and I'm working at a grocery store and doing a different job because of the pandemic.
So this is very true. Many teachers quit everywhere just because of how hard it is to teach virtually. Anyways, this man told me that he now works at the Meijer down the street from the Starbucks I was currently at, and to interview someone there, so I decided to talk to a pharmacist. How has the pandemic changed your life?
So the pandemic has changed my life in a positive way. By being able to use our clinical knowledge as pharmacists and myself as an intern, by helping the community and educating the community, whether that's young and old, on all of the guidelines and all the mandates that have come out. And now with the vaccine, we're currently offering that. So for us, it has kind of changed our role as pharmacists and healthcare providers, so that's positive.
It's true. People like him have a reason that the public can get updates about COVID and how to treat it. So, next time I went to Target, and I physically stopped when I saw a guy with a fire department logo on his jacket. How has the pandemic affected your life?
Personally or professionally?
Either way.
Okay, well, I'll start with the professional way. I oversee the position I'm in at my Caledonia Fire Department. I oversee all my EMS divisions, so that's my biggest concern, is helping make sure all my paramedics and EMTs are taken care of with the proper personal protective gear that they have to wear. So initially when this first came out, that was my main concern. And then the firehouses are turned upside down because we can't sleep in the same vicinity and we can't eat in the same vicinity. So that's a big, I guess, big turnover, big upset the guys made and gals at the firehouse were pretty upset over those policy changes. Personally, yeah, same way. I like being outside. I like to be visiting places, can't do that. So yeah, I'm waiting for it to be done with.
That's the interesting thoughts that I never really thought about before. Everyone talks about how hard healthcare professionals are working right now, and not to say that they're not working as hard as they really are, but it's just an interesting way of thinking that, you know, we never really talk about how hard people like the police and fire department are working right now. Anyways, speaking of healthcare professionals, next up I went to GameStop. How has the pandemic changed your life?
It's changed it in a number of ways. It's changed my work. I work in a hospital, so it's really affected how we interact with patients and families and the things that we need to do to both manage their care needs, and then also affects different ways in which we get them to leave the hospital as well. You know, we've noticed resources being different, and it really creating more bottlenecks with that sort of thing as well. And then I guess in my personal life, you know, it has really just limited my abilities and opportunities to see my friends and families, and our level of comfort with being able to do the things that we like to do with each other, for example. So, I mean, really, it's been all around for me. It's been both professional and personal that I felt the impacts.
One thing that I think people need to understand more right now is what it's like from the viewpoint of someone working in healthcare right now. We need to appreciate her life and everyone else like her's life, because it's become 10 times more stressful right now. Anyways, next up, I drove over to my local Pick and Save. How has the pandemic changed your life?
The pandemic changed my life in a way that I never thought it would. I didn't get to finish my senior year of college like I thought I would be able to. I didn't get to have my lasts that I thought I would get to have. And it really interrupted everything about my life.
Now, I feel really bad for her and all the other college students. It's really hard not being able to finish something that will basically kickstart your life. Anyways, finally, I went over to Sally's beauty store. How has the pandemic affected your life?
I mean, it definitely has affected me, just like with working and everything, because with working and having the pandemic, within the pandemic, is just a lot of people aren't coming in as much and just trying to, especially when we were closed for a while, it definitely affected at least the pay and everything like that, because then you're struggling to find stuff.
Having to work in that position and getting less money can affect you way more than you actually may think. You know, what I think this all boils down to is that the pandemic has made us appreciate things that we had before more than we did when we had them. It just really is so hard to have a
Happy quarantine.